Well, here we are. It's the Royal Rumble week. It's Tuesday. It's the 27th day of January, and we are going to talk about the complete lack of promotion of the Royal Rumble up until tonight. And even in tonight's show, it didn't seem to have a sense of urgency for the Rumble. There was some mentions of it. We had Adam Pearce do what WWE has done forever, and that's reward bad behavior by putting the entire vision, the group that Adam Pearce has been screaming at for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, throws him and the entire group, Braun Breaker included, into the Royal Rumble, lifts Braun's suspension, does everything they want. Now, yes, there's a mystery phone call. Is that something that has to do with Adam Pearce and why he's bending the knee? Probably, but it's still kind of just, it's par for the course, as well as rewarding bad behavior of Finn Balor, who was told by CM Punk earlier in the night to go and win the Rumble if you want your rematch. And what does Finn do? He comes out, he interrupts the match, he causes a disqualification, he attacks CM Punk viciously after you thought they had maybe a nice little interaction after their match last week. And what's going to happen? He's going to get rewarded with a world title match, right? Because that's how pro wrestling logic works. You act nice and you do it the right way. You take, you'll be waiting forever for your shot. If you just attack champions from behind, act viciously, do bad things, you get rewarded. So, hey, I don't know if that's really a complaint as it is just, I guess, kind of funny or ironic. And that was certainly on display tonight in Toronto, which was a very nice crowd. I give Toronto credit. The Canadian crowds are always a lot of fun. Whether they're in Montreal or Toronto or Winnipeg, wherever that they make their rounds up there, they are always a lot of fun. And credit to Toronto, who made Monday Night Raw a lot of fun. And, overall, I thought it was an okay show. Again, the lack of a sense of urgency for the Royal Rumble is astounding. Now, they didn't ignore the Rumble like they'd have essentially the last 2 months. They actually talked about it, and there were some mentions of it, as I just spoke about. But to basically put on the back burner what's at stake, not remind fans what's at stake, maybe bring in new fans about, hey, what's this Royal Rumble thing about? And I know we kind of laugh at that, like, oh, well, who's that? Well, there are newer fans, especially younger fans. They may not understand. And even fans that have been around for a long time, you want to be reminded of the importance of the Royal Rumble. And they have not reminded you of that. It's just, oh, yeah, the Rumble's full. You're in, and I just declared it. It's the most ambiguous, total lack of actual regulations and rules to be followed to enter the Rumble. You have to declare it, but if you don't declare it, then you may not be in, but you still could be in if you're just handpicked. It's so arbitrary. There's no rhyme or reason as to how people are selected in the Rumble. I know we cannot have a tournament of anything. I mean, it would be months long of a tournament. Because you have 30 men, 30 women, it would take forever. That's not what I'm advocating for. But there should be some kind of qualification, some kind of just baseline. Here's what you have to do or be or complete in order to be considered for the Royal Rumble. Why? Because you have the biggest prize in the entire industry on the line. That's also the biggest problem I have with this lack of promotion that's built around these Rumble matches is you have a main event spot at WrestleMania on the line, a championship match on the line, which is the biggest prize in the entire game. And it's not being stressed, you're not being reminded of it. It's sub storylines and it's just detours on what they're really trying to talk about on Monday Night Raw. It doesn't seem to have a focus. This year's focus does not seem to be main event of WrestleMania, which is the focus of the Royal Rumble matches. This year, that's about the vision, which I like the vision. I like the vision a lot. Have they dropped the ball with Austin Theory already? Probably. That's another discussion for another time. I would not add any more people to that group. You're already having Logan Paul get kind of lost in there. Braun Breaker is clearly at the forefront. You do have Bronson Reed, who is the heavy man in the group that does damage with his tsunamis. And so you're having guys get kind of lost a little bit. And you have Heyman, who brings instant credibility and a voice to the group, which does help. And so there just seemed to be a lack of focus for something that should be at the utmost importance, should be the focal point of show after show after show leading up to the Royal Rumble. Screw screw the Saturday night main events. Who cares? And they had no interest in doing that. So I don't know what this year's strategy is. I don't understand the strategy of this year's promotion. Doesn't really resonate with me, maybe with any of you this year. I don't know. I don't feel as excited for the Royal Rumble as I feel like I should. And a lot of that, I think, is due to WWE feeling like it doesn't really have a big impact this year, or that it's not as important this year, even though the prize is the exact same as it has been in years past. The prize doesn't change. The prize is still magnificent. It's as big as it gets. But they need to remind you of that. That's called marketing, promotion, and they have done almost none of it for this year's Royal Rumble. So I'll get off that soapbox here, but it's something I'm not allowing WWE to get away with. They can't get away with that. It's inexcusable. Inexcusable. And now, with all that said, welcome to the show. If you want to join us ad-free, patreon.com/WWE podcast is where you go, or Apple Podcasts is also a great place because you can go ad-free right through the Apple Podcast app. All right, well, let's start at the top of the show, see what happened. We had the Michael Cole explain that the WWE built the stadium that will host Saturday's Royal Rumble event, and footage of the venue was shown, which was pretty impressive. I mean, they had essentially a big dirt lot, and they built it into a stadium. It was pretty incredible in the short time that they had it. Just a month or two that it took, which is lightning speed. Absolutely incredible. So, you know that WWE is going to put on a hell of a show there because the Saudi Arabian government essentially requires it and pays for it and pays dearly for it. So, yeah. All right. AJ Styles comes out. He welcomed viewers to Raw because that's what you are mandated to do by WWE law, which is, as always, stupid. Nobody should be a spokesman for the show except the announcers. So Styles spoke about how Gunther believes he will retire him on Saturday. But he said Styles is not going to go anywhere. He has no reason saying that this can't be his year. He said there are locker rooms filled with wrestlers around the world that he wants to face one more time, and he wants to be a world champion one more time. Styles did say Gunther's good, but he's not phenomenal. CM Punk comes out, and the fans sang along from Punk's entrance theme after it stopped, and Styles asked if fans figured out why he was there, and Punk asked Styles what he was doing. Punk said he thinks that he and Styles have gas left in the tank, and he questioned why Styles was putting his career on the line against Gunther, and Styles asked if Punk felt he could beat Gunther, and he asked if that's what he said, Punk asked if that's what he said. Punk said that if Styles loses, they won't ever get to meet in a ring again. And Styles said he could beat Gunther and he can beat Punk. So, I mean, yeah, he still is putting his career on the line. I'm not going to go through everything here because it gets kind of monotonous going through line by line. But Styles is putting his career on the line against Gunther. They made a championship match for later in the night because CM Punk just declared so, even though we've been told time and again by Adam Pearce, he makes the matches, that it needs to be official. I guess that goes out the window when the storyline permits it, but it's fine. I mean, you had two guys I would say both are really at the twilight of their career. Even CM Punk, he said he has gas left in the tank, and your mind may want to, but your body is going to tell you otherwise, and your body is going to dictate whether or not you do. I don't think CM Punk is at the tail end where he only has a matter of months left. I think he probably has a good year, maybe two, if he does it part-time left. But he certainly can't keep going at this pace. And this very well may be CM Punk's final major title run. I think he'll be a part of the company until he goes into the Hall of Fame after he retires. But this could be CM Punk's final major title run. Given the WWE is about youth, and they should be, and that CM Punk is more injury prone than he's ever been simply because of his age, not because of his in-ring ability necessarily, but your body and physics will take over no matter what your mind tells you. It just will, because that's just reality. So, not trying to depress anybody that's enjoying CM Punk's title reign, but I don't know if we'll see another one again. I don't know. I'm not saying it is officially, but you kind of get that sense that it could be. So AJ Styles faces Gunther, puts his career on the line, and we'll talk about Gunther's response to in an interview that was very well done with Michael Cole in a sit down backstage. That was really, I don't think we've seen enough of those from Gunther. That was just fantastic and great. I mean, I think Gunther might be suited better for that than in certain contexts, rather than in ring interacting with the crowd, getting the whole, you tapped out like a little, I can't say the word because it's a PG-13 show, but that's kind of where he's been living right now, and you haven't got a whole lot of context from him. This eliminates the crowd from the equation, which is good in some respects and is needed if the crowd is taking over your promos. And bring him into a quiet setting, what's really on his mind, sit down, let's talk. And I think it was well done. We'll talk about it. So we then have... Let's see here. Women's World Champion Stephanie Vaquer and Tag Team Champions Rhea Ripley and Io Sky come out. And Lillian Garcia is filling in for Alicia Taylor. I guess she was unable to make the show because of Canada being... obviously tons of flights canceled this week with the snowstorm and ice storm. That was like half the country. So nice to hear Lillian. But we did have a tag team match, and that was, again, the Women's World Champion Stephanie Vaquer and the Women's Tag Team Champions Rhea and Io taking on Liv, Roxanne, and Raquel. The match went 13 minutes. Good match. Stephanie Vaquer, Rhea, and Io defeated Liv, Roxanne, and Raquel. And the finish was Ripley blocking Morgan's Oblivion attempt. Perez makes a blind tag. And then Roxanne holds Ripley while Morgan went for her finish, but Ripley remained on her feet. Sky took out Morgan with a missile dropkick, and then Ripley hit Perez with Riptide and got the 3 count. Solid tag team match. You did get a little bit more of a tease of Raquel and Rhea that I would think is coming one-on-one. The two women on a collision course. But I will say Rhea Ripley, and this is just a general observation over the last several months since she's entered the women's tag team division, even before that a little bit, she kind of wrestles like everybody else. And that's not necessarily a slap in the face, because everyone wrestles very well, although the argument is, well, everyone wrestles the same, and the WWE style, right? Like whatever the hell that is. Everyone wrestles the same, so they all feel the same. So you know what kind of moves are coming. You know the pacing. You know when a match is really, has a chance to actually end. You know when the false finishers are coming. Like, the style and setup of pretty much every match that's ever existed in WWE. So I don't know if WWE style is really a compliment. But my point is, Rhea should not be wrestling like everybody else. She's a larger woman in terms of stature and muscle strength, although she has, and this could be just the Jade Cargill effect or the Jordan Grace effect. I'm not sure. The women that are, ultra muscular, but Rhea Ripley is she losing muscle mass, or is it just we're so used to seeing her now that, it's not impressive anymore to us, and we see Jade Cargill and we're like, wow, right? I don't know. But Rhea seems to be just kind of just another wrestler in there. And I'm not advocating for her to go to the women's world championship and become women's world champion again and chase that whole thing. Like, she's taking a nice detour doing this tag team thing with Io. It's fitting them well. I don't think it'll go past WrestleMania, but for the time being, it's good. It's just an observation of Rhea where she doesn't wrestle like a larger woman, a more muscular, athletic, and superior in stature woman should. And early on in her career, she was wrestling very much like a dominant female. And now it's just, she's taking bumps like Roxanne and Liv would, women half her size. So I don't know what that deal is about there. I'm not sure. Even if they know they're doing it, I don't know. But I'd rather see Rhea wrestle and feel different. She kind of feels like everybody else, and I don't want her to. But again, easily fixable. But perhaps this is by design. I don't know. So then, let's see. We had the broadcast team talk about CM Punk being a fighting champion because, of course, they do. And that's the messaging all the time for every babyface champion forever and ever and ever. I've talked about that chapter and verse about how that's just a stupid concept on its face. I won't go into it now, but if you've heard me before, you know why. So CM Punk was walking backstage. Finn Balor caught up to him. Balor said he'd been thinking about what happened last week and giving him his flowers. He wanted to give Punk his flowers and say thank you. And he told him that Finn Balor told Punk that it was one of the more memorable nights of his career. And Balor recalled Punk picking him up, as I said, and giving him his flowers. And Punk told Balor to think about what he wants his legacy to be. He told Balor that he can't be champ hanging around, quote, garbage like Dom Mysterio, and encouraged him to get away from the Judgment Day. And that's, it's true. It's also nice to see Finn Balor doing something beyond the Judgment Day. And while the Judgment Day caught wind of the conversation with Punk, you kind of still thought that he was going to take Punk's advice, maybe turn babyface, do something of high magnitude with his loss that he took last week. And he did, just in a different way, kind of doubling down on the heel version of him. But I would like him to eventually get rid of the Judgment Day. That's for damn sure. But it is also encouraging, thirdly, that he isn't just a one-off because they were in Ireland last week, right? In his home country, you're thinking, okay, it's kind of a one-off and he'll go back to just being the wallpaper in the room with the Judgment Day. And that's not the case. I mean, at least for now, that they're for now still keeping him at the top of the discussion. So the Vision come out, and an ad aired with Paul Heyman following Paul Levesque around and trying to sell him on putting one of his men on 2K26, and they arrived in the lobby of headquarters, and Levesque asked, "How did you pull this off?" And Heyman said it was time to play the game. They showed a giant image of Triple H on the cover of a special King of Kings Deluxe Edition. What? And I don't mean to be 2002 Stone Cold Steve Austin. What? I'm not trying to pun that. I genuinely mean, what are we doing? I had a bit of a rant about the Attitude Era being on the cover of the video game. Despite my love for the Attitude Era, the company should be embarrassed. They still have to use an era that is a quarter of a century old to try to sell video games. But the fact that Triple H, who clearly had say and pull on not total control, but that he is on the cover of one of the special editions, not the base edition of the video game this year, is downright just narcissistic. I mean, there's just really no other way to put this. You see Triple H out there, especially big PLEs, out there coming out for no reason. He'll open up the show. Stephanie McMahon's on the show. You guys, are you ready? Are you ready? You ready? I'm over it. I love DX. I did. Back in 1997, more specifically, 1998 was really their peak. Yeah, I loved it. 28 years ago, and we're still doing this. And I even love the reunion of DX, not the million ones that they did when it was a nostalgic night or a Raw tribute night, or for whatever reason they just would reunite for one night. No. I mean, when they actually reunited in 2006 to take on the Spirit Squad and Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon. I actually enjoyed that. They did a hell of a job. I was in person there for their reuniting. It was awesome. Taking on the Spirit Squad. Fun. Great. But that is long since passed. And the fact that we are going to the guy that's the head of creative to put himself on a special cover, a special edition of the game, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. A King of Kings Deluxe Edition. I hope nobody buys it. I hope everybody buys like the Attitude Era edition, or every other edition is sold except King of Kings. I mean, are you kidding me? It's also stupid because of how much backlash Triple H has gotten over the last, especially year of his creative decisions. his kind of quiet declaration of war against fans, especially online. And you're going to put the guy that is the head of creative on one of the editions of the game? You're kidding. It's almost like they're inviting us to not buy that version of the game because you feel like you're supporting Triple H in that endeavor to continue to put himself on TV for no reason. Literally no reason. Like, it's not hyperbole. Like, no reason other than a very self-serving reason. It's self-serving for Triple H to constantly come out there for no, like, just to do what? Rattle off a couple of old DX lines for the 4,000th time. I mean, what I would love is, and people don't do it, but when he comes out and does that, I would like people to just not react at all. Don't even boo. I mean, booing would be, my second choice, but the best reaction to give something that you just want to send a message to Triple H and company about is just not react at all. When he says, "Are you ready?" Imagine the crowd just sitting there in silence. That would be as embarrassing as it gets. And look, I don't dislike Paul Levesque as a person per se. He seems like a decent person. But his ego when it comes to his character is unmatched. It's unmatched. I can't stand this. I don't know. I mean, there is no other way to put it other than narcissistic. So. And I don't want to hear, oh, it was 2K's decision. Yeah, no, it wasn't. You know why? Because 2K should look at this and go, hey, guys, we're all wrestling fans, or at least they should be. Why would we put the head of creative, a guy that's been maligned by fans for the last year, on the cover of one of our editions of this video game and try to sell it? Do you guys think that's the best way to sell a version of the video game, is to put a guy that fans don't like on it? Yeah, let's do it. No. Okay, so we had Vision in the ring. Heyman said they were increasing the star power of Raw, and he introduced everyone in the ring. And Heyman said Breaker was there for a meeting with Pearce, and Heyman had a footage play on the big screen of Pearce putting his hands on Breaker the night that Breaker was suspended. And Heyman also had footage displayed of Pearce placing Logan Paul's brass knuckles on the apron, accused him of planting them for Ray to use during the match. That's when Adam Pearce comes out, and he spoke while Braun Breaker was held back. Pearce said he wasn't there to make excuses or to say he's sorry for wearing his heart on his sleeve, but he could admit that things got out of hand because he put his hands on Breaker first, and he apologized, and he lifted his suspension, as I said, and pretty much did everything else and bowing at the knee and bending the knee to the Vision. Kind of disappointing, regardless of what the phone call was that people are talking about. It's disappointing that we never saw a spear on Adam Pearce. But hey, the way that the WWE logic is, I mean, if Braun Breaker wants a first-class ticket to the main event of WrestleMania, all you got to do is just break every rule in the book. You just spear Adam Pearce, destroy the Titantron, go rogue backstage, attack Triple H, whatever you got to do, right? And just destroy crap, and you will be pretty much not only guaranteed a title match, but you'll be somehow slotted into the main event of WrestleMania. I mean, you go to that level. So, all righty. Well, we have then Rey Mysterio take on Austin Theory. Rey Mysterio with Penta and Dragon Lee taking on Austin Theory, who were with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. The match went 11 and a half minutes, with Austin Theory beating Rey Mysterio after Rey threw a kick through the ropes, and Theory took advantage of the distraction by Logan and hit a stomp on Mysterio for 1, 2, 3. That's when all the members of the Vision come in and beat down the baby faces, and that's it. And so there does seem to be some serious shoulder injury concerns around Rey Mysterio. I don't know if it's legitimate. It might be. And if it is, I feel for Ray. Not a good time to get injured at all. Given the time of year you're in WrestleMania season. So hopefully if it is legit, that it's nothing too serious. So, okay. A Natalya promo video aired, and she said Maxxine Dupri failed her, and she said Dupri thinks that just because she rolled with a legend, she can roll like a legend. She said it will never happen again, and Natalya said she's coming for it all. Natalya elevates, but Natty decimates. So there it is. Again, a very cute produced promo. Look, the positives of this are Natalya is doing something relevant for the first time in about 6 years. So there's that, if you're a Natalya fan. Maxxine gets off the Intercontinental title trail. She gets to work with a grizzled vet that'll help elevate her. I mean, it just will. And there's that. I mean, and Natalya, she's got a nice delivery of her promo. But I got to call a spade a spade. You guys know I'm real on here. The amount of Botox and lip injections and whatever kind of work she got done on her face, I don't like it. And hey, you may say, oh, nobody asked you. It's your problem. Well, guess what? She's a public figure in the public space, volunteering to be in the public eye. That opens her up to what people want to say, and whether you like it or not. Natalya, again, I have respect for her, but man, what happened? I mean, I know what happened. Plastic surgery, which never looks good on anyone. I don't care who you are. Plastic surgery on your face, no matter how much money you have, the best doctors you could possibly have in LA or wherever you get your magical doctors that try to make you look younger, do nothing but make you look unnatural. There is never anyone that I look at that's got a bunch of work done and I go, wow, that looks like you didn't even get any work done at all. It's always very clear when someone gets work done and it never looks better. Never. Now, I'm not talking about burn victims, right? Now, I'm not talking about other enhancements to your body you can make. Your face is unique because there's so many different factors that go into it to make it look the way it does. And when you mess with the muscles in your face and the structure of your face, it doesn't look natural. Muscle control, all that stuff. There's a million things going on in your face. It never looks good. And Natalya has reached level of like, who is this? And look, I'm not trying to offend anybody. It's just, it's the way it is. If someone wants to pretend to be offended on behalf of somebody they never met, then go ahead. But I'm right. It's just, it looks horrific. Who are you? Well, guess what? I'm a fan that has more than enough basis to stand on to criticize. It's the same thing as criticizing a sports player for wearing a jersey or for getting a haircut you don't like, or like, but suddenly when I talk about a woman's face, right, like suddenly people come out of the woodwork as if there's some kind of like oppressed class, right? Alrighty. Well, anyway, that's how I feel. Her work looks terrible. Looks terrible. I wish whatever happened to gracefully aging? Is that even a thing anymore? Or are people so afraid of aging that they'll do anything and everything, even if it looks like they, they're part of like a Tales from the Crypt cast extra, and they will do anything at whatever expense. They will look any way other than older. But not only do you look older, you look warped. So like it never works. Never. There's nobody that I've seen that looks better with any kind of facial enhancement, Botox or surgery, facelift, whatever you do. Nothing. Again, beyond burn victims, whatever, right? I'm talking about purely cosmetic optional surgeries from your face, for your face. Sorry, Natty. It's just I'm calling it. I'm just calling it. And hey, if you think you look great, then cool. You're cool, but all right. Yeah, I spent 10 minutes on talking about Natty's face, so bring on the comments. So, Let's continue on at a higher pace here. We had Michael Cole sit down interview. Yes, I know Raquel was yelling at Adam Pearce, but I want to move on. Michael Cole sit down interview with Gunther. Cole asked him why he backed AJ Styles into a corner when it came to accepting in the retirement match. He also asked why Gunther would take away a long send-off for Styles, and Gunther boasted about retiring Goldberg and John Cena and said he's not interested in Styles taking away a moment that belongs to him by having a long farewell. And Gunther asked Cole how long he plans to stick around to chase another moment. And Gunther said, he could kick Cole's chair over and end his career, but he's not gonna. And he wants him to sit at the Rumble and says Styles' career is over. Gunther laughed. And that was it. So, yeah, it's kind of short and sweet to the point, but I loved the authenticity of this. And Gunther's character it's just great because Gunther is not flashy. There's nothing exciting about his entrance. He's just a legitimate throwback, kick-ass wrestler. He's a pro wrestler in an entertainer's world, which makes him so appealing. Let me say that again. He's a pro wrestler in an entertainer's world. That's partly what makes him stick out. He's got the look, he's got the work rate, the style of a true pro wrestler. His promos like a pro wrestler, not an actor or an entertainer or a gymnast that so many are today. Not this polished, predetermined feel to everything. Gunther feels like he truly means what he says. And I know that he's still a part of the machine, but he's more believable that he's not. So I love this. Nearly everything, almost everything Gunther does, I love just because of his character and who he is and how simple it is to understand who and what he is after. And I love it. But he is clearly going for the career killer mantra, the career killer, that's going to be his thing, like the legend killer. So it'll be interesting too when Randy Orton eventually comes face to face with Gunther this stage in his career. I think they've met before though, and have the legend killer versus the career killer. That'll be fun. But Randy Orton's got his own stuff going down here on SmackDown, and so yeah. So anyway, really like this. So let's continue. We have Jey Uso come through the concourse. He's back to where he should be in the tag team division. We have the New Day versus Julius Creed and Brutus Creed versus Otis and Akira Tozawa versus Bravo and Rayo in a 4-way for a shot at the World Tag Team titles. The match was pretty quick for that many men in this match. I mean, 11 minutes and 20 seconds. That saw Otis and Akira Tozawa win. After the match, Jay stood on the apron and held out his title belt, and that was that. So good. I mean, fine. Otis and Akira Tozawa are number one contenders. They're not going to win, but fun anyway. There's not really much to say about it. The tag team division, even with the Usos as champions, is cooling off a bit. Now, the Usos are one of the best tag teams that have ever existed, so they'll be able to continue, I think, to elevate that division, work with new teams. That's what this is about. But I don't think they'll drop them anytime soon. Okay. We then have backstage, Javon Evans told Styles he knew he had a big match tonight and a bigger match on Saturday. Hopes he can see him on his farewell tour. And that was that. We have then the Vision speak inside their dressing room, and Bronson Reed asked what the plan was, and Logan said that since they have an advantage, they should make sure one of them leaves as the winner of the Royal Rumble. And Logan said he thinks the winner should be Braun Breaker. Reed in theory agreed, and Logan said that is the vision. And yeah, so CM Punk then comes out. Obafemi, a video package aired, and it was listed that he is going to be in the Royal Rumble. I honestly wouldn't have announced that. While we've seen him a couple of times on WWE television, and the reaction's been great, and he's, I think, felt like he belonged right away, I think it would have been a little bit of a fun, oh yeah, wow, cool, he's part of the Rumble moment for the Rumble. It doesn't destroy the Rumble by any stretch of the imagination. It doesn't hurt where they're going momentum-wise with Obafemi, but it just, from that particular moment where he could have been a mild but good surprise. So it's fine. It's fine. So again, we got the AJ Styles CM Punk match for the World Heavyweight Championship. The match went 17 minutes, where CM Punk obviously retained because it was a no contest because of Finn Balor. This was really, I enjoyed this match from start to finish. Both men work very well together. Both men have probably 50 years between them in terms of experience. The GTS delivered a AJ Styles on the outside of the ring that Styles was unresponsive, and then rolling Styles back into the ring, and then getting into a Styles Clash smoothly. And you're thinking, oh my God, maybe. But at the rate everyone kicks out of everyone's finishers, this is where, again, the finisher diminishization really hurts, because had Styles hit that Styles Clash in a world where finishers mean something and Punk kicked out, the world would have gone crazy. But in this version of pro wrestling that we know and love today, you've been educated to believe it's going to take 3, 4, 5 finishers to kill someone, you know. Well, I say kill, I mean, put them down for the 3 count. So nonetheless, still really good. Didn't hurt Punk to, quote unquote, lose or whatever the way he did. A no contest doesn't hurt. But it's interesting that the Cody Rhodes Jacob Fatu match also kind of had this feel. While this match actually started, it was essentially a non-finish. The big match at Saturday Night's Main Event with Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu, that match didn't even really get started. It was just a kind of a brawl. So interesting that we got similar types of matches here with big names that they've just decided not to give us true finishes for. Now, this is to continue to elevate Finn Balor. I'm not super mad about it. I get it. Finn Balor in the main event feels much more, feels much more right and proper than it does with Finn Balor being a hidden part of the Judgment Day for years now. So this is good. Finn Balor hasn't lost a step, and CM Punk and AJ Styles have nothing to be ashamed about. Obviously, CM Punk wasn't going to lose the belt here by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, just for on so many levels, that would have made no sense for CM Punk to drop the belt, not just because he just won it and AJ Styles taking it and then facing Gunther at the Rumble. And then there's, well, what does that mean for the Rumble? Is he, it gets messy. There's just no way you could have bet your house on the fact that CM Punk was not going to drop the belt. So that, but hey, Finn Balor's back in the main event. We'll see what that means. I guess they're going to hang on the line what Punk said to AJ or Finn Balor earlier, where he said, Finn, what do you want your legacy to be? Because Cole repeated that. So I think they're going to lean on that as maybe the thing, the catalyst that sparks something in Finn's mind to do what he did. All right. So that was that. Again, an okay episode. Didn't do much to make me feel excited about the Rumble. I was thinking they were going to try to maybe pack everything into the show here and get us super hyped, for as little time as I had left. But they didn't. It was, as I started with this show open, and I'll close with it, it did not get me excited for the Rumble. The only thing that gets me excited for the Rumble is possible returns. Chris Jericho, is he likely? Yes. I think Chris Jericho is a heavy, heavy favorite for a return. Not to win, but to return. Yes. LA Knight, certainly a big, if not guaranteed, surprise entrant and return in the Royal Rumble for the men anyway. Then of course you always have your dark horses out there like The Rock or Stone Cold that there's just no way. I think that's like a pretty much zero, virtually zero. But we'll go through all of those predictions and preview on Friday. We'll also kind of do a mini mailbag. If you have questions or your thoughts on the Rumble and predictions, do that as well. I'll read them on air. Email me, mailbag@wwepodcast.com. That's mailbag@wwepodcast.com. Go ad free at patreon.com as well at patreon.com/wwepodcast, because you get to go ad free. There's no better time to do it than the beginning of WrestleMania season. So, but I will say though that to close on my point about the Rumble, there has never been a Rumble that I could think of, not just that it's been marketed so poorly, but that I haven't really cared so much about the outcome as I have about just the returns, which tells you that this match and what it's meant to be for and the prize that's at stake is not been sold well. It has been pushed aside for just the Rumble itself. It's just the match sells itself, apparently, is what they're thinking. So, all right. Well, and also, I guess in a weird way, that's not a bad way for WWE to approach it, because they set the bar low where the expectations aren't very high, and then they can easily exceed expectations that are low. So they don't get you super hyped. Oh my God, it's going to be the biggest Rumble of all time, blah, 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 blah. And then they don't deliver at that epic level. And instead they kind of leave you ho-hum, and all they have to do is deliver an average Royal Rumble. And then in your mind, you're like, wow, they exceeded expectations. So they're playing maybe a little bit of an unintentional or intentional psychological game here. But either way, I don't think it's a good way to generally market things. So, alrighty, that'll do it for me on this Tuesday. Hope everyone's enjoying their week. We'll be back on Friday with your official Royal Rumble preview and prediction show, as well as the mailbag. So don't forget to join us over at patreon.com/WWE podcast to go ad free. Until then, guys, take care.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.